Ever wondered what made the French Revolution one of the most influential periods of social and political upheaval, an inevitable event? This momentous era not only reshaped the contours of France but sent shockwaves across the globe. The French Revolution was a crucible of radical ideas and violent change, a beacon of hope for some, a warning for others. Its echoes are still heard today, reverberating in our modern world. Stay with us as we journey through the causes and consequences of the French Revolution. In the late 18th century, the French society was on the brink of a collapse. Economic turmoil was indeed a significant factor. France was embroiled in a financial crisis, a byproduct of years of deficit spending. The country's involvement in the American Revolution and the extravagant spending of King Louis XVI and his predecessor had drained the national treasury. Attempts to reform the corrupt taxation system met with staunch resistance, further exacerbating the crisis. But the financial turmoil was just a symptom of a deeper malaise. The French society was riddled with profound social inequality. There were three estates: the clergy, the nobility, and the common people. The first two enjoyed numerous privileges, including exemption from many taxes, while the third estate, the vast majority of the population, shouldered the burden of taxation. This gross imbalance created a simmering resentment that was about to boil over. The Enlightenment, a period of intellectual fervor, played a critical role in sowing the seeds of revolution. Enlightenment thinkers like Voltaire, Rousseau, and Montesquieu championed ideas of equality, liberty, and democracy. Their writings questioned the authority of the monarchy and the church and ignited a spark in the minds of the people. The French were ready for change, thirsty for a society where rights weren't a luxury reserved for the elite. The printing press played a significant role in spreading these revolutionary ideas. Pamphlets and books circulated throughout France, reaching not just the educated elites, but also the literate members of the Third Estate. The ideas of the Enlightenment, once confined to the salons and coffeehouses, were now common discussion points in the streets and homes of France. The monarchy, oblivious to the brewing storm, continued to live in opulence, further widening the chasm between the rulers and the ruled. The stage was set for a revolution. The societal pressure cooker, fueled by economic distress, social inequality, and Enlightenment ideas, was ready to explode. As the nation sank deeper into debt and unrest, a revolution was not just a possibility but a certainty. The year 1789 marked the beginning of a decade-long period of radical social and political upheaval. This turbulent time in French history, known as the French Revolution, was characterized by a series of significant events that shook the very foundations of the old regime. The first of these events was the storming of the Bastille. On July 14, 1789, a crowd of Parisians stormed the Bastille, a royal fortress and prison, in search of arms and ammunition. This act of defiance against the monarchy became a symbol of the revolution, marking the end of absolute monarchy and the birth of the First French Republic. As the revolution progressed, France was gripped by a period known as the Reign of Terror. From 1793 to 1794, the radical Jacobin faction, led by Maximilien Robespierre, assumed control of the government. During this time, perceived enemies of the revolution were tried by the Revolutionary Tribunal, and, if found guilty, executed by guillotine. The Reign of Terror reached its peak in the summer of 1794, with Robespierre's execution marking its end. In the wake of the terror, a young military officer named Napoleon Bonaparte rose to prominence. Napoleon seized power in 1799, establishing himself as first consul, and later declaring himself emperor. His leadership brought stability to France after years of chaos, and his military campaigns across Europe spread the ideals of the revolution far beyond French borders. However, the revolution was not only a time of violence and upheaval, it was also a time of profound social and political change. The feudal system was dismantled, the power of the Catholic Church was curtailed, and principles such as liberty, equality, and fraternity became the bedrock of the new French Republic. The revolution, marked by internal chaos and external wars, drastically changed the course of French and world history. Despite its tumultuous nature, this period of radical change laid the groundwork for modern political and social systems, not only in France but around the world. The French Revolution, however, did not end with the Reign of Terror. The upheaval and chaos that had torn through France set the stage for a new kind of leadership, a new kind of power. Enter Napoleon Bonaparte, a military prodigy who seized the opportunity presented by the revolution. He rose rapidly through the ranks of the French army during the revolution, and by the turn of the century, he was the undisputed leader of France. But Napoleon's influence wasn't confined to France. His military campaigns spread the ideals of the revolution across Europe. The revolutionary principles of liberty, equality, and fraternity were not merely French ideals anymore. They became a European phenomenon. This period also saw the rise of nationalism, a sense of collective identity based on shared language, culture, and history. The revolution had shown the French people what they could achieve when they stood together and fought for their rights. This sense of unity and shared purpose spread across Europe, further fueled by Napoleon's military campaigns. The idea of a nation, of a people united by more than just the rule of a monarch, was a powerful one. It was an idea that would shape the course of history in the centuries to come. Influences of the French Revolution rippled across the globe, igniting other revolutions. The Haitian Revolution, the Latin American Wars of Independence, and the revolutions of 1848 in Europe all echoed the ideals of the French Revolution. The people had tasted the power of revolution, of the possibility of change, and they were not willing to let it go. The French Revolution, despite its violence and turmoil, brought about radical changes that still echo in our world today. It was a time of great upheaval, but also of great progress. Its legacy is one of transformation, of the power of the people to shape their own destiny. And that is a legacy that continues to resonate, to inspire, and to challenge us even today. The French Revolution left an indelible mark on history. With its ripple effects felt far beyond the borders of France, it is credited as one of the defining moments in the shaping of the modern world. Let's delve into the legacy of this pivotal period. At its core, the French Revolution was a struggle against absolute monarchy, a fight for equality, liberty, and fraternity. It was a resounding cry from the masses that the power of governance should not rest in the hands of a single entity, but be distributed among the people. This idea, revolutionary at the time, laid the groundwork for the democratic systems we see around the world today. It's important to remember that before the French Revolution, the concept of rights, as we understand them today, was largely absent. The revolution, with its declaration of the rights of man and of the citizen, brought the idea of human rights to the fore. It asserted that every individual has inherent rights that should not be infringed upon, regardless of their social or economic standing. This was a radical shift in thinking, one that has since become a cornerstone of our global society, influencing the creation of documents like the United Nations Universal Declaration of Human Rights. The revolution also profoundly altered the social structure of France and beyond. The feudal system, which had long been the backbone of European societies, was dismantled. The societal hierarchy was upended, with the bourgeoisie rising to prominence. This marked the dawn of a new era, where wealth and power were no longer tied to noble birthright, but could be gained through commerce and industry. The French Revolution, with its dramatic upheavals and far-reaching consequences, changed the course of history. It challenged established norms, ignited conversations about rights and governance, and shook the foundations of societal structures. Its influence is seen in the democratic systems, the human rights doctrines, and the socio-economic structures that shape our world today. The French Revolution, a tumultuous decade of change, gave birth to the world we know today. So, was the French Revolution a triumph or tragedy? This is the question we've been examining throughout our exploration. We've delved into the causes, the course, and the consequences of this monumental event. We've seen how the seeds of revolution were sown in the fertile ground of social inequality and financial crisis. The common people, burdened by taxes and angered by the excesses of the aristocracy, found their voice. They demanded liberty, equality, and fraternity. The call for change grew louder and louder until it exploded into the outbreak of the revolution. Then, we traced the tumultuous course of the revolution itself. The monarchy was overthrown, and the reign of terror claimed thousands of lives. Yet, out of the chaos emerged a new political order, a new social contract. The revolution brought about radical changes that have shaped the course of history. It paved the way for democratic principles and human rights, leaving a legacy that continues to inspire movements for social and political change around the world. But the revolution also had its dark side. It led to years of instability, violence, and suffering. It showed us how the quest for freedom can sometimes descend into chaos and tyranny. So was it a triumph or a tragedy? Perhaps it was both. It was a tumultuous period of transformation, filled with both hope and despair. Regardless of how one views it, the French Revolution remains an epical event, a testament to the power of the people when they rise up for their rights.